Good morning, everyone. It's 9 a.m. I'd like to welcome everybody to the March 15th, 2021 work session. Ellen, do we have any public comment?
We do not.
All righty, thank you. We have no resolutions and orders, no contracts, agreements, and grants, no budget revisions, no merger purchases, no board appointments. Under award of bids here, it's a whole list here. We'll kind of go through it in the work session. The 2741 is for the concrete pipe, which will be with Foley, and all your prices are on to see the attachment here if you need to see the price on it. 2742 is for crushed limestone with Rogers Group, and 2743 is crushed limestone delivered with Rogers Group. The first one would be pickup. 2744 is plant mix, pickup, and delivered with Rogers Group, which, as everybody knows, Rogers Group bought out Reed, and our contract last year was with Reed. So, and next one will be 2745 will be traffic striping, and that's with Ozark Striping Company. And I wish Mark was here today. That's the contract we used last year? Jason, do you remember? He was going to. I know they still got some striping they've never done from last year. We're going to try to. So we're going to try to go with that. And next one will be 2746 with steel slag. We did not receive a bid for steel slag, so we don't have a bid for slag. 2747 will be crusher run limestone, picked up and self-loaded at Vulcan Materials. It's $17 per ton. 2748 will be for high performance asphalt, cold patch, and materials. Advanced Asphalt Products is a primary vendor. Then you can Wiregrass and Eagle Utilities is the second backups. 2749 will be for guardrails, and that's with Alabama Guardrail Incorporated. 2750 will be for asphalt plant mix laid in place, which was Rogers Group. And then 2751 is scrub seal, which was with Ergon Emulsions. Any discussion with any of those bids? And if it's all right with y'all during the work session, we'll just approve all the bids to reading through it. But nobody total discussion with any of them? All right, moving on. Personnel action. Number one will be to approve family medical leave, and I'm sure that's supposed to be for instead of Caleb King, beginning April the 4th of 2021 and ending April the 29th of 2021. The next thing on there will be to hire Patricia Phillips for a part-time van driver for the Limestone County Council and Agent. Number three will be to hire Shelby Bates as a corrections officer effective March 15th of 2021. And number four will be to approve family medical leave for David Beckham beginning March 28th of 2021 and ending May the 3rd of 2021. And we also have the fifth one, which will be to add to hire Audrey Rose Kilpatrick as an administrative clerk in the License Commission, which Joseph gave you an attachment there before the meeting. Any discussion with any of the five? All right. No discussion with any of the five. We'll move on to merit increases. I'll ask for, when we get to the meeting, we have several merit increases listed here. Does anybody have any discussion or any conflict with anyone on the merit increase? All right, no discussion, no conflict there. Move on to the engineer's report. Hunter is filling in for Mark today, so yes, go ahead, Hunter.
Three subdivisions for you guys to take action on today. One is Cedar Tree subdivision in District 3, one lot, minor subdivision, preliminary and final. Another minor, Island Acres in District 1, 3 lots, that's preliminary and final. And then one major is Ricketts Farm Phase 2, which is in District 2, be adding 41 lots.
Is that Jones Road?
Yes, it's on Jones, just north of that. It goes to one that
Preston.
has the real nice landscape. That's all I got for you today.
All righty. Any discussion with any of the three subdivisions? Another thing is, being Mark's not here today, Commissioner Samet was in the other day and we was talking about it. We have, with all the Rebuild Alabama projects we have and plus some other projects we're working on, we were maybe looking into buying a new asphalt spreader, just for talk and consideration topic today to discuss. We had one person give us a price back of which Thompson Caterpillar would have been $434,000 for one, and we're waiting on one for Road Tech out of Cowan. So I know Cowan is becoming a Road Tech dealer, and we was waiting on a.
I do have one more thing. Sorry, I know.
Okay.
I know I said I was done. I apologize.
Well, I mean, does anybody have any input or any discussion with the asphalt spreader? If we did try to pursue that route?
We are saving so much money doing so many roads ourselves, and our guys have gotten so good that you always need a backup machine. The one we got now will be an awesome backup machine. We do need I think we need one too. I mean, money-wise, $434,000 sounds like a lot, but that's about 3 miles of us paying somebody else to do it. It's about $130,000 a mile, something like that, or 135, or whatever it is. I don't know what it is now, but that's just 3 miles of road to pay someone to come in and bring their own stuff and pave it. So if we can get one for $434,000 and then use it for 5-6 years, well, we save that money. We save that money the first time we ever drop it on the road. So
One of the things me and Mark discussed hard about it the other day when he came to me with it, it will make us about twice as efficient as we are covering. I mean, as far as, and another thing is we're working on a couple of big projects, which one of them, down in District 2 and then maybe one up in District 1, if we get some grant money to help us out with, we can save on the one on the south part of the county, we can save about $800,000 if we do the work ourselves versus contracting it, and that's, which I know you still have labor and all in it, but and something else too, it gives us the opportunity. We can use the other one for patching and leveling ahead of this one.
Right.
Right. Because the machine that we have is actually more or less a parking lot driveway paver that our guys do an awesome job with. And why interest is cheap, and why you're looking at a payment of around $100,000 a year. I mean, and we saving, we could save up to $800 to $1 million a year if everything works out.
if you look at it that way, it's less than a mile a year.
Yeah.
Well, what you better really look at is the fact that the machine we've got is wore out.
Yeah, it's got a lot of water.
And it's gonna go down, and it's gonna go down in the middle of the season.
Yeah, it's not
You
gonna
know.
tear up when we're not using
That's
it.
exactly right, so.
I think with the consolidation of the industry, it's important that we remain some independence
Yep.
in order to do it ourselves, so I think that's important.
Yeah.
Which that's something else too, with the contractors, we have some great contractors in this county and all, but, if you gotta, if we pave 10 miles of road a year and the state's got a project out here for 50 miles a year, naturally they're gonna try to do the
They're
state
gonna do
project
that first.
first.
Yeah.
And that's just the nature of the thing. With that being said, I not take action today or nothing, but the thing is, if we looking into this, the delivery time, the quicker we could get one for this season. Is that something y'all would be interested in pursuing?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Darryl brought it up no sooner than he'd been in here. We've been doing this your first summer, and we got there and we started looking at, what we're gonna do with this right here comes apart.
And that's something-
And that's the truth. That comes from.
Well,
It's already got
before
parts.
doing what you were doing before you got elected, but that's,
And
he's
I
right.
and I have discussed with Emily, and of course, with these projects we're working on, and we're kind of in the middle of a project at L&S, but I discussed with Emily financially and all. The thing is, we'd kind of have to just put the buildings on hold. We're going to go ahead and finish the dressing up and leveling of the project, and the building part of it, we would just kind of put on hold till we see if we get these programs.
Did Mark think that was he? wanting
Yeah,
to
he was
pave
fine with that.
other than the building?
Well, he was hoping for both, but he was open. We had discussed it, and the thing is, which we're waiting on a bid from Cowan. We're just kind of saw it out there and seeing what the delivery time is. Which next commission meeting, I would just bring it forward because as long as y'all in kind of agreement that he can go ahead and get see if we can get everything lined up, see when we get
Maybe you'll
delivered.
have another quote.
Yeah, we'll have another
Oh,
quote and all that by
And
then.
another thing, I was the guinea pig, and it didn't do terrible, but I was glad we didn't get any of that slag. I don't want to be tempted to get it. It hurt that machine last year when I ran slag through it.
And
And you don't save money at the end of the day by using slag because we had to use so much more emulsions with it. And it didn't stick like it'll stick to rock. So, we got two roads that we did with it last year that will probably never come apart because, they're solid, but they're also, the wear and tear on the machine was not worth the money that you might save, so.
And one of the other things with asphalt, we have kind of learned that a lot of these projects, instead of reclaiming and all this, that, and other, it's cheaper to pull a asphalt surface on it, a leveling surface versus doing that. Our asphalt projects have went from doing nothing to what we're doing now, you know, especially with the Rebuild Alabama projects. Now, you know, if we could get this machine, if it could speed us up, it would be, you know, it'd be great so we can get other projects done too, so.
Yeah, I never want to see another reclaim.
Hey, well, you know, like I said,
I don't ever want to see one.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
well, I know we've looked at some projects around where it has actually, by the time you consider reclaiming it and putting the surface back and all, you can actually lay an asphalt layer cheap as you can do all of that
Right,
and get more years out of the surface, so.
Yep.
right.
So anyways, for y'all's consideration and all, y'all kind of, like I say, everybody's in agreement. I'll tell Mark to go ahead and pursue this, and we'll find delivery dates, and we'll get something back next commission meeting, if everybody's in agreement. Any more discussion with that?
I think
And I think Hunter had something else.
Just to let y'all know that roadside and VMI, you know, the same company roughly, they did finish up Saturday on the spray routes and whatnot. Of course, it is their first round, so there may be a few spots that were missed and whatnot. If you get any kind of constituency issues or anything, just let us know. 'Cause we do stuff spray trucks, so if it's
Yeah.
just a little short stretch or something like that that didn't get hit, we can jump out there and take care of it.
Do they have a GPS printout that we can get and show us what they did hit so we can compare that before we ever had to start watching the grass die?
We've got shape files from them, but we haven't necessarily processed them just yet. I know they left the USB drive on Saturday, so Todd
Yeah.
just got that in his hands today. So
That's good because, I mean, if we wait 3 weeks before we get it, we've missed this,
right.
this type spraying, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
And we got soybeans up that high and all that. We don't need to be spraying anything around that, so,
But yeah, they're gonna kind of compare to that and just make sure everything's good.
okay.
but
But
they,
also, you know, for the future, if they did miss a spot, we can tell them, you know, we can tell them now, for the next round of applications, they hit that spot. So.
Yeah.
yeah, I set them out spraying Saturday morning, so. All right. Any more discussions for engineering department or Hunter while we got him on the hook here? All right. All right, under, other business, one thing we will have today, we will have an executive session following the commission meeting, determine the litigation to be no, and that'll be added on there in the last of it, and won't be no action taken after that. So I'm just gonna make that, do you have anything to touch on that, Mark?
No, it'll, like I said, there won't be any action. We'll address it at the time as we need to in the course of the regular meeting, but it'll come after the, commissioner reports, and then, the meeting will be adjourned, when the commission comes out of executive session.
Yeah, we will take no more action. I just wanted to make that on the, just add it at the work session where the public would know. We have no scheduled public hearing, report of officers. Commissioner Samet?
I don't have anything at this time, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Samet. Commissioner Barksdale?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I run across the Alabama Limited Self-Governance Act. It deals with the county's authority to weeds, junkyards, litter and rubbish, noise, pollution, unsanitary sewage, and animal control. It's something that the commission can vote to put on the ballot, and I was just wanting to get my fellow commissioners' feelings on this act.
I'm 100% against it. It's, I can tell you other counties that have had it and they put it in there. It ends up being that you kind of infringe on people's private property rights, which is, I'm against. You also can go to the point that, you know, you're gonna pick and choose if that car's been sitting there for 6 months in somebody's yard and this car's been sitting there for 6 years, but this guy's been giving, I think it becomes, the commissioner's discretion of what they want to enforce and what they don't want to enforce. So this is called home rule too, is really what it ends up being called. I could bring 5 county commissioners in here from Elmore County that all put it on the ballot. It got voted in. All the people voted it in. And then the people raised Cain that they voted it in, and they voted all 5 commissioners out because they allowed them to put it on the ballot. All 5. You know, this will tell you if you can have 4 dogs in your backyard, or if you can have 1 dog in your backyard that barks too much and somebody complains, we go out there because it's a noise ordinance, or if they got a donkey that's spraying. I mean, this really gets down to the point that we're going out and telling people what they can do with their own land and their own property, and if it's brought before me, I will be 100% against it until the day I die. So that gives you my side of it. I don't know about everybody else, but this is, we want to have smaller government, and that's what a lot of people call for, and this right here is increasing government, and I'm way against that.
I know, like, and I don't really know if this, I would have any power, like I had a concrete truck wash his truck out in the street.
Yeah.
I know we have issues that we have to deal with that we really have no power to.
Oh, you got power. If he goes up there and drops a potted plant in the middle of the road, you got the power, because that's impeding the process. You can call the sheriff's department, tell them, hey, whatever it might be. The junk and debris law is the same thing. We can talk to Mark Macklin about that, but you can have with the junk and debris law without having this put in the law. We can call the health department, have the health department go out and do it. We can have the sheriff's department, if it's a legal dumping site, go out and handle it. And we don't have to have a governing, I mean, we talk about the Alabama state constitution just getting longer and longer and longer. Well, it's just something we just add to our already busy schedule that, I mean, it's already stuff out there to kind of circumvent and deal with it. And this right here, it's in stone when you do this right here. I mean, there's no getting around it.
I guess, even if you pass the law, then you would do individual resolutions to deal with each specific problem that you had.
Mark can answer that to it, but
the way that works?
There's kind of already
I'd be glad to look at it and go into it, well, with any questions anybody has. One of the things that's come to mind for me before I would mention now, that you would also take into consideration, if it were to be implemented, what additional staff there may be to oversee or to enforce certain provisions that you do put in place.
Right.
So those would be considerations as well. Not that, I don't say that as a reason not to do it, but that's something else to be considered. So it would be a matter of looking into, I guess in simplest terms, what you want to use it for.
Right, and that's what I would like, that's what I would like to learn about.
Also,
What,
I had mentioned, Jason mentioned the junk and debris laws. Also, if you get in situations where, somebody's damaging county property, obstructing rights of way, I mean, you can still take action against
Without
them,
this.
Against them without.
I think
there are still avenues.
did I send you,
You did. I'd called you back,
okay.
and we had just missed each other on it. Maybe
Okay.
I can get with you about that. But yeah,
Okay.
so if somebody's damaging roads, and the first step there would be, tell them to clean it up.
right,
In my opinion. But if they're not, and it's some damage or obstruction, further action could be taken. So we can talk about that after.
Some of these things, if you put in pollution, air cleaning, air quality, all that kind of stuff, and you have a real nice subdivision built out in the rural part of the county, and you've got 4 chicken houses sitting to the north of them, that wind comes out of the north, I mean, you really get into the point that, when it comes down to following the law, what you can be able to tell that chicken farmer he can do, well, I don't, that's the side of it that's bad. It's great that you can go out there and tell somebody they can't have 5 Labrador retrievers and 3 pit bulls running around the yard without a leash. That's great, because they might be causing problems. But then you got the lady down the street that's got the toy poodle, and she can't let her dog run around the yard when she's out in the yard. So, I mean, you can't pick and choose what you want to follow. It's just all one big thing, and I would love to have it and be able to nitpick and pick which ones I want to be able to enforce, but the other ones would just be so terrible that I don't know.
think you can do that by the resolutions that you adopt. Is that correct?
Under that,
Sir?
you're talking about under that? Or
Yes, sir.
just in general?
Right.
Well, I think, yes, but you might want to look into.
Yeah, and I don't know a lot about it, I just,
Because what it may be, I guess what I'm trying to say is if you look at what you want to use that for specifically, do you already have authority under other
Right.
law to take that action?
and that's what I would like to understand, the pros, cons, and unintended consequences.
What are
Which is
some of the things that you're concerned about now that you
Well,
would want to fall under this?
Really just damage to public property.
Yeah, we could handle that. I mean, unless it's unless the damage to public property would be, let's say, if we had 10 school buses pulling out of one spot and them wearing out a spot in the road, is that something you talk about, or a trucking, or a
No.
business, or is it just in general?
Just in general, if we.
Like a farmer, if he drops a plow in the middle of the road,
If
and
we-
he tears the road up and he drives on off, so we can still come back and we can enforce that we don't have to have that to make that farmer fix that spot.
The way I interpret it is you could adopt the act, and that would just give us, permission to adopt resolutions to address specific situations.
Yeah.
Now, it may be more to it than that I'm not aware of.
I don't know either, but I really think that's just making us,
Yeah.
I think
'Cause
I think it's giving us too much power.
I'm a personal property rights guy.
Yeah.
But when it gets off their property, that goes by the wayside.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But it's just, and LaDon may can look at it, and Darrell
Yeah,
can
we'll-
see what their feelings are.
All righty. Anything else, Commissioner Barstow?
That's all.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioner Black?
Yeah, I got one thing down here, Loftmiller Road. It's runs beside, Rogers Group right there off of Highway 31. Reed has always come out of the back from that, back there now, Rogers will. I met with John Stevens and Kenny, their construction, director, and they're going to go into partnership with us, which it'd be a whole lot more on their partnership than it will ours. We're gonna widen that road from 31 back there to where we pick up our asphalt and whatever else we get, and they're going to, put a new surface and stuff down for us. That's really, really rough. I've got people in the area that were complaining about it. I've never been able to call Rogers Group that they weren't always, really helpful on doing stuff like this. Let's see, they gave me 10 loads of gravel 2 weeks ago to put down Airport Road. Now, of course, their trucks use it, but there are also people that use it that own their own independent trucks, so they didn't give me any money, and of course, they're not going to, but Rogers Group was able to donate some money, and Vulcan Materials donated 6 loads. So that's 14 loads we got donated to put on that road that didn't cost us any money. I had to pay for the shipping part from Vulcan, but you're looking at $100 a load. I mean, it's a no-brainer for a truck and a driver. That's really cheap. So I just really want to thank Rogers Group. I know they also got the bid for us. Sometimes I don't understand, monopoly on stuff like that. It doesn't always sound good, but as long as they are the good stewards that they have been, I don't think we'll have any problems. Now, if we start getting to the point that they start, setting prices that we don't have anybody to compare to from around here, we might have to back up and punt and do something else. But right now, I want to thank John Stevens and David Leeds and them for helping me with those 2 roads. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Black. Commissioner Townsend?
I don't have anything right now.
Thank you, sir. And I'll just hold mine to the commission meeting, and we will recess until 10 a.m. Thank everybody.